Hey guys, and welcome back to the Geeks of the Multiverse podcast. It has been a while, but we are back, and hopefully we are back for good, which is what all YouTubers who don't upload say. So, I'm Brandon,
And I'm Will.
and this is going to be I'd say a bit of a stinker of a podcast, to be honest. We got a lot to talk about because we have missed a lot. It's been a long time since we've talked to you guys. Starting off with the future of Marvel and what got revealed in the Disney Investors Call. Moving on with more Disney Investors Call stuff, the future of Star Wars and more stuff that got revealed for the universe we love oh so much. And finishing off with Spider-Man 3, news versus rumors. What is real? What is not? What's happening with this film? I don't know. But without further ado, let's get into the podcast.
Okay, so first off, we have Marvel at the Disney investors meeting, and there was a lot to show
We do
there.
indeed.
There was a lot there. There was
Jeez, yeah.
so much coming through. My man Brandon here was getting very emotional because
I
of all the
was.
stuff. There was a lot of unexpected stuff. That's fair to say. Like, if you'd have told me that before that day, we'd have heard about like Armor Wars, some Groot series, Secret Invasion, and then Fantastic Four, like. I don't think I'd have believed you, but we're here now, and we've heard about these things, so we're going to be speculating about, the stuff that we could be seeing in those series, as well as rumors that are going around about certain things in certain series. So, Brandon, you want to start with WandaVision? There's been a lot of trailers for that.
I do indeed. Yeah, it's been certainly been promoting itself in quite a few places, radio, TV, all around the shop. And it's safe to say that I am fucking hyped for this show, man. I have no idea what to expect, but I can't wait. So in the trailer that we saw, it's a lot more of the same, but equally still no wiser as to quite what is happening. There's a lot of there's a lot of crazy stuff. There's a lot of crazy
There is a
stuff.
lot of crazy stuff, yeah. There's a lot of characters just appearing that have, like, no irrelevance to Wanda, but they're just there. Like the woman from 4, she's in the first one.
Oh yes, Darcy.
Yes, she's in that.
She's probably working with Sword because like what Jimmy Woo's in it. She's in it. Monica Rambeau,
Monica Rambeau, yeah,
and then you've got within Wanda's sort of mindscape, if you will. You've got a character titled the Nosy Neighbor, as we all know, is going to be Agatha Harkness, who is a witch that will be likely messing with Wanda in some sort of way. Perhaps she's been sent by someone else, some greater force, but who knows?
she could be all in her head. It could just be a massive mental block.
It
Who
could be,
knows?
yeah.
But again, there's been
Yeah, I
there was
mean,
a new trailer today, actually. Oh, yesterday.
there was a little spot. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was. Yeah, it's called Signals or something like that.
yeah,
Once again, more of the same, but it's kind of that in 2 weeks kind of thing.
yeah. It's like there's the radio. I think it's coming through all of the transmissions trying to get to Wanda.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's very much probably the theme of the series, that they're trying to just get back through to her because she's in like this parallel bubble dimension that's all
Yeah, I mean,
messed up.
who knows what quite causes the mind break? I mean, all I can hope for is that you get my boy Quicksilver back, and I'm not talking about Evan Peters, even though he is in the show. I'm talking about Aaron Taylor Johnson. If the, I mean, it feels like the most. It's going to feel like the most missed opportunity if they don't get him back.
Yeah,
Because why would she not? I mean, it's in her perfect sort of little world, little pocket dimension.
yeah. It's
So
a goddamn brother. Like,
exactly, yeah.
as long as they don't go down the routes of what happened in one of the comics, then we're fine.
Oh, incest.
Yep, that's the one.
That's the one. Jeez, I tell you what, that is. Marvel's had some weird storylines back in the day.
Yeah,
Stuff that would not be published now.
I don't think they'll go that way with these like
Oh, do you,
kid-friendly,
do you
well,
not?
majority
That
series.
shocks me.
That didn't see that coming. So, should we move on to Falcon and the Winter Soldier? That's got a few trailers coming out now.
I mean, yeah, we've had our first look, like proper look at it, apart from that one that we saw last year in that sort of like Disney Plus roundup, if you will.
Yeah, this seems like their big action show
It
compared to One
feels
Vision.
like a sequel to Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Like it
Yes.
has that very much that Russo brother political sort of feel to the movie,
Yeah. It's a lot more gritty
sort
and
of espionage.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they just look stunning. I mean, that those shots with him going through the canyon, it feels like I mean, that is movie quality shit, you know, and it's not
Well,
even out yet.
they did have the budget of a film though, technically.
I mean, yeah, they did. Yeah, yeah. Budget is not a problem when it comes to Disney, and I respect that.
That's fair. That's fair. Because I assume some people are thinking that it looked quite tacky, being as like a film. Like Agents of Shield doesn't quite feel the same level as the films in terms of cinematography. Feels much more like a
I
standard
love
TV
Agents
show.
of Shield. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, as much love that I have for that show, it doesn't obviously carry the same sort of feel as the movies do.
Yeah, that's probably why
Um,
it hasn't aged as well as some of the old MCU films because there's just such a difference in cinematography and
I mean,
budget.
everything's got that MCU feel to it. That everything within the universe and within canon has that feel, that MCU feel. That if you watch it completely oblivious to any of the characters, it still like. For example, if you went to see Shang-Chi unknowing that it was a Marvel film, you would still know that it was an MCU film just because of the feel.
Yeah,
Um, so that's really cool, and like some of the characters and some of the things that we'll be touching on in that show gets me very excited. Screaming Nimi is rumored to be in it. Baron Zemo is back, and he's got his iconic suit. Who else? What else?
well,
They're
the
going to.
location, the place from I think it's the X-Men comics, isn't it?
It's the X-Men. Yeah. Oh, can I search it? Um.
But yeah, so there's that place that we'll find the name of in due course. There's there'll probably be a lot of references to Steve
Madripoor.
Rogers. Hmm?
We're going to Madripoor.
Madripoor,
They're going to
that's it.
Madripoor. Yeah.
That's the one.
So there's rumors that we could be getting our first mutant or first hints at mutants in the MCU in this show. Very plausible indeed. But I think I genuinely feel like Santa Claus might be the first MCU
Oh
mutant that we see.
no.
I feel like it will. Guardians Holiday Special, which we'll get onto later. I feel like my boy, because if those of you who don't know, in Marvel Comics canon, Santa Claus is like an Omega level mutant. So maybe.
That could be true. That would be quite funny though, for them to like start tackling that with literally Santa as the villain, watching Santa get ripped apart by the Guardians at some point, or if he
I mean,
whatever route they go down with him. I guess that probably isn't kid friendly enough for Disney for them to have Santa as a villain.
he's not a villain, but he's just kind of like such a powerful mutant. And I feel like maybe they'll go like, oh yeah, like Star Lord will mention like, oh, Santa comes and brings presents to all the kids, and then like Mantis is like, oh, I want to meet this Santa, and then they'll go on like a quest to find Santa
Drax wants to fight him.
or something. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That actually makes the most sense.
We will fight this Santa Claus. Okay,
So, do you want to move on to the Loki trailer?
the Loki trailer. That was wild.
That
So
was
it started
insane.
off. I think if I remember, the trailer started off with like the little bit from Endgame, where
Yes, it did. Yeah.
yeah. So for anyone who was doubting what this series was going to be about, then there you go. It's about him in the alternate dimension
It's
that they
definitely
went to
following
in
that
Endgame.
Loki, and not our dead one.
Dead
Yeah,
one.
I mean, it was originally rumored. I think it must have changed it at some point because it was heavily rumored that it would be the show would focus on him, our dead Loki, who's trying to get into like Valhalla,
Ah,
and it's like he's telling tales of the past, and you'd have like a kid Loki and him in the past, and
yeah.
all that sort of stuff.
Also, if you were also in doubt further. That's why that literally in the trailer you can see Avengers Tower in one of the shots when New York's all messed up. You can straight up see Avengers Tower.
I mean, that's one of the universes, like one of the timelines he'll be jumping to. Who knows what happened to it? But
Do you think there's a possibility he jumps into like the main MCU universe now?
I mean, I reckon he jumps into the end.
At
At
the
the
end,
end,
it
he'll
probably
jump
makes
into
sense,
it.
but
Yeah,
unless they're doing like a second series where then maybe they'll go for that. But maybe they just want to give him a break from all the 4 films.
yeah, for sure. I mean, it'd be cool to like eventually, maybe after 2 seasons or something, he like we get a Loki, whether it's him who turns into a kid or a kid Loki from an alternate universe, where obviously, if those of you who haven't seen my highly successful in views Young Avengers video from a couple of months back, Kid Loki is a part of the Young Avengers. So if they're setting that team up, which they clearly are, it'd be interesting to see him be a part of the team.
Definitely, because that would also fit well within like as in Loki's like character development from the very first MCU films as well.
Yeah,
From
for
actually
sure.
finally going from like the villain to literally joining the Avengers.
It'd be interesting to see. I mean, this. I mean, I have a theory for what's going to happen in like what the overall plot is that, and it's nothing overly profound. It's fairly basic stuff, but I reckon it's going to be the fact that he jumped into a different timeline or into a different. Well, no, he jumped into a different place because he uses the space stone.
Yeah.
And ruins the timeline, the flow of the timeline, and how it should be from Endgame. Um, the Time Variant Authority kind of like they pick up on that, and they come after him and they lock him up, and he's not having a great time in prison. So he offers them a deal, perhaps, or they offer him a deal for him to work off his sentence in perhaps fixing, like in a Legends of Tomorrow style, fixing
Yeah.
time anomalies or something like that. Like he works for them, he works off his debt,
That would
which
be
is why
good.
we see him as that. I don't know what his name is, but that thief who went missing, the guy
Oh
on
yeah.
the guy on the plane.
Yeah, the playing guy.
Yeah,
That makes sense. Yeah. That'd be an interesting way to go.
yeah, DB Cooper, that's his name.
Yeah, well we'll see. We'll see what's happening.
We'll
But
see.
what's got What If?
What if?
Yeah.
Oh boy, I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward. I don't know about you, but I am looking forward to this.
I'm looking forward to it, but probably not as much as all the other ones, just because I prefer like the actual like addition of like stuff to the main continuity than What If stuff. For example, if Star Wars made a What If thing, I probably wouldn't like it as much
You mean
because
unless it
it
was a
was
what if?
because well some of it could be better, and
So
then
that
it
didn't
will just
happen.
be bad, and then it will just look bad.
Yeah, because you'd be like, oh, I wish this happened instead of this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
get
if they
you.
make Star Wars one where it's like, I don't know, what if Luke Skywalker didn't disappear? And what if he just fought the First Order like a normal person? Then that would just be better. That would just be like, wow, why isn't this the actual film?
And then you'd have fans complaining like, why can't you bring this into main continuity?
Exactly. So that's probably why I'm not. I am like looking forward to it because it's still pretty cool. Like the art style's nice as well.
It's real nice, yeah. Like it has a very like a realistic yet obviously cartoon feel to it. Like
Uh,
like when you look at them, the characters, you're like, oh well, that's obviously Doctor Strange, but it's not just Doctor Strange. It's like, oh, it's Benedict Cumberbatch.
yeah, and it's also like it also pulls out like the comic suit in Spider-Man the game. The one you unlock, I think it's for 100% in the game, or no, it's not 100% in the game. The one you get for finishing the story, I think. It's like a comic book, like the art style. The colors are a bit
Oh
weird.
yeah.
It's like
Like
they've
the
taken a
vintage
bit of
comic
that,
suit.
like the colors, very reminiscent of a comic book page.
Yeah. It definitely feels like someone's drawn a comic book, but just kind of like a motion comic.
Yeah, I think the
And like,
zombie episode will be the most interesting for me.
yeah, same. And I want to see how they do it because obviously in the comics, it's Reed Richards who sort of creates the Marvel Zombies universe. obviously I don't think that will happen here. So it'd be interesting to see how this zombie apocalypse has come about
Yeah.
in that universe.
There's
I mean,
also
I'm
some
intrigued.
episodes which I'm not looking forward to so much. Like, I'm pretty sure there's one where it's
So,
like, what if Black Panther was Star Lord? Is that it?
oh, you're not looking forward to that?
No, I don't. I don't see why. Whose idea was that?
I mean, I think it's like Yondu picked up the wrong kid.
Ah,
So it's
but
kind of like,
like, it's just like a weird idea. It's not one that you'd think of like, oh, what was different in Marvel? Like, you'd think of big, massive things. Like, I don't know. What if Iron Man never got out of the cave? Or
die.
yeah, but like, what if Rhodey was Iron Man the whole time? Like, little like things like that. Compared to like, what if Yondu picked up the wrong kid? I mean, and for example, specifically Black Panther. Like, I don't
I
think
think it's a
that's.
cool concept,
I don't
possibly
think
the
it's
last
so much
performance we
like a
see from Chadwick.
mainstream idea.
Yeah, but I think the point is like sometimes it's little changes, sometimes it's big changes. Like you go from like scale of 1 to 10, you go from like Black Panther as Star Lord to Marvel Zombies, or like Star Lord, not Star Lord, Doctor Strange fighting an evil version of himself, or Iron Man being in Sakaar instead of Thor in Ragnarok, or Captain Britain and Steve in a sort of like Ironmonger type suit. You got like different levels, different scales of intensity and change and like massive changes.
That's true. That's true. But it's still
It's
not
kind
one
of like,
I'd really think of as like, whoa, I wonder what Black Panther would be as Star Lord.
yeah, I get you, and it looks like there's some like overarching main timeline MCU stuff, like with Nick Fury being like, oh, maybe talking to like Watu or something like that, the Watcher,
Hmm. Yeah. So
because it
that's
looks like
cool.
Nick Fury's the main drive of the series.
Yeah. Well, that's also the case for Secret Invasion as well that we'll talk about later because that's going to
Yes.
be his sort of thing.
Oh boy.
And then we've got a Miss Marvel trailer. No, yeah, Miss Marvel
Miss Marvel, yes, indeed. Oh,
with Abu.
yes, with Abu, best character in Marvel's Avengers.
Marvel's
Which, if you
Avengers.
don't
Yes.
play it, go play it. It's a sick game. I promise you, it's going to come around.
In about 2 years, maybe.
me and me and Will are like the entire players that they got. It's just us.
It
We're the
is
only
just
people.
us. We're the only ones still playing it.
So yeah, from what they've shot already, it's looking really good. Like I'm surprised they actually showed us anything of that show.
Even if it was just a few little things.
Yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
surprised they had anything to show.
Hmm. I
And
suppose it wasn't groundbreaking like what we saw, but we just got nice little things like Abu.
Abu, oh, the back of Abu's head, gotta love it. So yeah, I mean, we've seen her and her love interest in the show. We've seen um, her just kind of like the show gives me vibes of like a Netflix show about teenagers. It's kind of like, oh, this is my teenage life and my teenage problems and all these teenage people that I go to school with, and here's my uncle or dad or whatever. Abu's her uncle, right?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
I
No?
think it
Is
is.
he? Yeah. And like all these sort of things, it's like very much reminiscent of that sort of thing.
Hmm. This is definitely the series more aimed towards like teenage girls that watch that kind of stuff more often.
I mean,
No.
I think I reckon it will surprise a lot of people.
Oh
I
yeah,
think it
yeah, yeah.
would.
I don't. I mean like that. Like, of
I
course,
know.
I'll
Yeah,
still watch
I
it,
know what you're saying. Yeah, yeah,
but
for
it'll
sure.
bring more of that audience into Marvel because they'll be like, oh, I can relate with this character.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of that in the show. Yeah, it's sort of like another female superhero, like another teenage superhero, and a first Muslim superhero that we are seeing in the MCU. So it's really cool to see them bringing in all these, like, diversifying and bringing these other demographics and like target audiences into the MCU,
Hmm.
and to have someone sort of like look at the screen and say, "Oh, well, that's me. That's a character I want to play. That's a character I want to read or something."
Yeah. So and when you get to like a big team up movie and everyone who likes like the series or film or whatever they make of this character will want to watch it for them, and there'll be all of these different like audiences coming together to watch this one thing again. That'd be great.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's going to be something real special to see that sort of, as you say, that correlation between the TV shows and the movies, where all of a sudden you're like, which you don't get much of, which you haven't gotten much of in the past, in terms of like seeing something on TV and then being like, oh shit, that's them in the movie with the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be really cool. That's probably the most exciting part about all these shows, is that you'll see that link. So then, moving on to Hawkeye, which is now filming,
Yeah,
which is
they've
pretty
probably filmed
exciting.
quite a bit of it by now. We've seen
They
a
would
lot
have
of
filmed
pictures,
quite a
and a
fair
lot
chunk.
of times they're filming.
Yes, we have. We've seen a lot of stuff. We've seen a suit, or at least a proto suit, with her in a tracksuit.
Hmm.
We've seen them at some sort of gala. We've seen them in the subway, and it's really cool because when you look at things, it's really taken from the Matt Fraction run, which is like definitely the most popular Hawkeye run there's ever been in the comics. Like it's incredible to see this such a. I mean, obviously there will be changes, but to see such a one-to-one sort of recreation for certain things is really cool to see. I mean, you're going to touch on the clown that deafens him, um, played by Bill Skarsgård. What's his name? Skarsgård.
Was he
It.
it? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's him.
My guy's getting typecast as clowns now. um,
Forever in the clown.
Forever in the clown. And then you're getting obviously my most anticipated part, Pizza Dog.
Pizza dog.
Love that dog. And they finally got Haley Steinfeld, which is awesome because that's been rumored for like fucking 2 years or something.
Yeah. Probably the best choice, and the fact that she's probably one of like the, I wouldn't say top celebrity people at the moment, but she's up there.
She's what I would class her as one of the top up and coming. I'm not even really up and coming. She's
She's
doing
been in a
bits.
few things now.
Like with her, she's doing bits with her music and with her movies and with all this sort of stuff. Like she's up there. Her career is moving mad, and I'm really excited to see where she goes next and how her being in the MCU skyrockets her career even further.
Mm-hmm. But obviously she'll be like tied down to it a bit, so don't expect her to be in too much other big franchises. Like
Yeah,
unless they're gonna go with like the Transformers cinematic universe again and build out, because they got the Bumblebee movie she's in, and that
yeah.
sort of ends on a cliffhanger, like slightly.
I mean, I always took it as like it, it's kind of like a prequel slash soft reboot of the Michael Bay stuff. So it kind of
Yeah.
like prequel leads into that, maybe sort of kind of
Well, I
maybe
heard
which
that it was like a reboot
yeah, which I
because it
hope so
doesn't
because those
line up
films.
with some things that happen in the other films. But I never paid much attention to those films. It wasn't really my thing.
Me neither, to be honest. Like Transformers have never really sort of been my thing, but all I know is that they are really long, really drawn out, and
Michael
they
Bay
have
explosions.
and they have Megan Fox, so great success.
Very nice, great
Bottom
success.
line.
Okay,
So
okay,
yeah,
okay.
bringing it back to some She-Hulk updates. This is going to be a little quick one because there's only little small updates with the show. Abomination is confirmed. Is really the biggest one.
And Mark Ruffalo, but that was obvious.
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo.
Ah.
So yeah, Abomination is finally back. I'm hoping to see a slight redesign, like almost like he's mutated over time.
Well, it has been a while, and we don't know where he's been for like the last like
I
15
mean,
years, pretty much.
if you take the word of Agents of Shield from back in the day, he's in the fridge.
Ah,
So, which is like a really secure prison facility. So
but
he's
not the
there. He's been
raft.
there. Not the raft. Not the raft.
The fridge. Okay.
The fridge. You got to put him in the fridge. Keep him nice cold. Then defrost him afterwards, before slow cooking.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I like my abominations, anyway. But
In the
it's
fridge. Nice and
totally
cool.
subjective. So yeah, is that it? Is that
Have they announced about General Ross in that one yet?
yes? I think they Did Feige mention it? The only thing I really remember Feige mentioning is A, Abomination, B, the casting confirmed, C, Mark Ruffalo, and also him mentioning what was the line he used? It was like, "You never know who's going to turn up" or something like that.
Yeah, they said there's going to be a
Which
lot of like cameos and stuff.
which if you take that and he did that little Feige smirk where he's telling you exactly what is coming, but he's not telling you what's coming.
Yeah.
Where he's basically might as well have looked at the camera and said,
Was
"Daredevil's coming."
or Red Hulk is coming.
Or Red Hulk, but I really took it as Daredevil. Like he's a lawyer, she's a lawyer. Like maybe an episode where it's like he's representing Frank Castle or something, and she's like, "No, the dude's a psychopath," and he's like, "No, no, no, I'm representing Frank," and like maybe they're opposing that sort of thing, or it could be a case of like Daredevil's gotten in trouble, and obviously he can't represent himself. So
Yeah,
I mean, who knows? To be honest, it could be Spider-Man even. No, wait, the show's coming out after Spider-Man, isn't it?
she could be in Spider-Man.
She could be in Spider-Man, but
Who
I hope
knows? We'll
not
wait
because
for
I
the
hope
pitch
Daredevil.
from Keys of the Multiverse in 6 months.
So yeah, that's She-Hulk. Moving on to, oh my god, this one really had me. Secret Invasion. Wow,
The
I cannot
fact
believe. Oh, sorry.
that you go.
I cannot believe that Secret Invasion, something so huge. This is what shows you they are putting so much faith in TV because something so huge as Secret Invasion is going to be a TV show. Crazy.
You would think that it would be like an Avengers film, but no, it's a TV show.
Now that's an Avengers level threat.
It's more like the lead up to the Avengers film, isn't it?
I
Like
mean, it could be, yes. You could have Secret Invasion and then you could have Secret
Avengers
Wars.
Secret Wars or whatever.
Yeah, you could do it that way. Um, Sort of an Avengers Infinity War to Endgame style thing, where it's like this show leads into the big movie. But to be honest, Scrolls are more of a long game kind of thing, so who really knows when it comes to the Scrolls and the Secret Invasion storyline?
Yeah, they it's clear they're going kind of a different way from the comics.
It's just a touchy subject though,
Yeah,
because you've got to be careful with who you scrollify and for how long, because you could end up undoing certain things. Like, oh yeah, Tony Stark was a Skrull all along, which he's
oh
obviously not because he would have transformed back after he died. But it's kind of like you've got to be careful with what you do and how you do it and who you do it to.
yeah, and also not going
Who do you
completely
think?
over the rails with like, oh, Captain Marvel's a Skrull, but she has all these magic powers still.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you've got to be like, oh, Hawkeye or something like that, or War Machine.
Like it would be blatantly obvious who was a Skrull if it was that case, because they just wouldn't function properly.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, oh, Bruce, turn into the Hulk. Nah, no, I don't think I will.
Thor, pick up the hammer. Hammer? What hammer?
No,
I don't have a
no.
hammer
You know what?
anymore.
Yeah. Anyone got a hammer? He just picks up like a random toolbox hammer. Like, ah.
Mjolnir.
So this show is going to follow Nick Fury and Talos for the most part. So do you think this is leading on from Far From Home's post-credit scene?
Yes, because obviously. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's that's the likely case of like it's just like he comes back to Earth or something. He's like, "The hell happened here? What did you do?" And he's like, "Listen, man, everything's falling apart. There's fucking scrolls invading Earth." He's like, "What? No." Honestly, though, I thought this show was going to be Sword, like Agents of Sword or something.
That's rumored as well, but
I wouldn't put it past them. I reckon it's on like Papa Feige's big board of things to do. I
to-do
wouldn't put
list.
it past them. Yeah.
He's got his shopping list and he's got his MCU list.
He puts his Marmite. He puts his Marmite next to his
Scrolls.
Agents of Sword show. Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so next we got a little one that we probably don't really need to talk much about, but I Am Groot.
Yes, a show that I'm not sure if it's live action or animated.
I think it's animated.
I think it's animated, but I'm not sure. Um, so this show is going to follow Groot on a little adventure around the galaxy, and he's going to be bumping into some different characters and creatures from across space.
Okay, I have
So
one question to you about this.
go, shoot.
Howard the Duck, yes or no? Is he in this?
He's got to be. I mean, he's not confirmed, but he's got to be, right?
It makes sense.
I want Howard the Duck everywhere. Howard the Duck, he's got to be on the show. You got to have Howard. You've got to have you got to have maybe Rocket or at least an appearance from Rocket at some point. You would think, unless the bugger dies at some point, but I don't know.
Nah, they wouldn't
Um,
kill Groot.
you mean Rocket?
No, Groot.
I mean, if Rocket dies,
Both of them.
not that they would, but
They wouldn't do that.
I don't
And
think they
they do
would.
that in like maybe in the Guardians film because they want to like shake up the lineup of the Guardians
I mean, perhaps, but I reckon if anyone dies in those, it's going to be Drax, maybe.
or
I just
Star
don't
Lord because they might want to
really
get rid
even
of Chris
Star-Lord.
Pratt because
Oh, to be honest, I don't think those controversies really affected him at all in terms of Marvel Studios. I
no,
think that
he's too big
I
there.
think after James Gunn, they've thought, let's not fucking not that that was Marvel Studios. It was more Disney, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So yeah, I don't think they're jumping the gun and firing anyone over any controversies anymore. As long as no one's a Nazi or a KKK member,
pretty much. Yeah, as long as no one's obscenely controversial with what they do, then
then it should be all right.
yeah,
So moving on, I think we should talk about the holiday special. Considering we were just talking about my boy Groot, the
yeah.
holiday special, man.
As
What you
long as
think?
they don't go down the route of the Star Wars holiday special,
Oh no! Well, you don't want eyeliner on everyone and Princess Leia singing.
not at all.
Oh, but what about Lumpy? Can we have Lumpy in the Guardians holiday special?
Lumpy is who again?
Lumpy's like Chewie's cousin or something.
Is it the baby one?
I can't remember. All I
There's a
know is his
little
name.
one I remember.
All I know is they had the audacity to call someone Lumpy. Can you imagine your parents calling you Lumpy?
Oh no. No, I'm not exactly sure what I expect from the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, apart from what you were talking about earlier. Santa Claus.
I mean, it's got to be just Star-Lord showing them what like Christmas is. You would think, right? Like he mentions Christmas or something, and they're like maybe they come back and they drop Thor off, and they're like, oh shit, it's Christmas time. It's December. I love Christmas time, and then like they're like, oh, what's Christmas? He's like, well, Christmas is a magical time, and we dress up trees, and then he like start dressing up Groot or something like that. That's what I expect from this movie.
Ah, yes. Yeah. Okay. I see where that could go now. Okay, fair enough. Also, as long as it isn't as bad as the Shrek holiday special, Shrek the Halls, then we're good.
As long as they don't go down the cliche of like, oh, it's a Christmas special. Let's just riff off "It's a Wonderful Life." As long as they don't do that, then I'm fine. If they do that, I'm boycotting Marvel. I'm fucking sick of that story, man. Every Christmas special.
Oh
Ah,
no.
bloody hell. So, Armor Wars. Here's a big one.
Something I wasn't expecting at all, and something that we'll probably take from a lot of the early MCU films because of the themes of like Iron Man 1 and 2 was more about his technology being used against him, and this is like the continuation of Tony's stuff getting used in not good ways at all.
Yeah, it's like what happens when Tony's tech when Tony's tech go when Tony's worst fear, I think is the words they used. His tech goes everywhere and gets out there, and he's not there to stop it. So Big Man War Machine has to stop it.
I'm expecting Sam Rockwell back. I'm
If
sorry.
they, I'm sorry, if they don't get Justin Hammer back, come on, what are you doing? I'm also expecting Crimson Dynamo because why would you not? I mean, he was in the comic. I think he was in the comic, and also with Black Widow introducing Red Guardian. then why would you not? Because I think it's the Winter Guard. I think it is. Like, why would you not kind of like fill out more of that team?
Yeah,
And I would also imagine that this is what leads into Ironheart, or Ironheart leads into this, perhaps. But I would think the tech getting out there would lead into Ironheart, maybe.
of course, yes, yeah. And maybe AIM as well, because obviously AIM, it's not really been so prominent so far. Like,
It
you'd think
really
they've got,
hasn't,
you have Modoc and whatever.
which is funny because in the Marvel Avengers game, it's the only thing that's present.
That is
It's the
true.
only thing.
That is
Uh,
true.
AIM, but in Wakanda. um, and then maybe, just maybe, Doctor Doom. I doubt it, but maybe.
Maybe they could be working towards that.
Yeah, like maybe they're like, oh, maybe like Rhodey's like, okay, so where did the tech get out to? And then Pepper's like, if she appears, she could be like, oh, it got out to Russia. There's some within the US, and this place called Latveria. And he's like, and then they don't touch on Latveria. It's just like that mention.
Be like, where?
She's like, but we can't go to Latveria, or else we'll risk starting like an international World War III style
Yeah.
battle.
Or they just don't think it's worth the effort.
Yeah, or something like that. That could be kind of cool. Um, so yeah, I mean, the thing is, War Machine was rumored to have a show from like day one of Disney Plus. Like everyone, it was like Wanda's getting a show, Nick Fury's getting a show, Rhodey's getting a show, Hawkeye's getting a show, Loki, and all this sort of stuff. Like he was rumored to have a show from day one.
Mm-hmm.
So it really doesn't surprise me. Like out of all the shows that they said they were going to announce, like 10 shows or something, I was like, War Machine's got to be one of them. But Armor Wars, awesome. I'm in. I'm sold.
We're all sold, I think.
I think we are.
And that leads into Ironheart, as we said a minute ago.
Ironheart.
That's something that was rumoured way back again, many years ago, on the Comic Booker channel.
It was.
A script was in
Yes,
development many, many moons ago.
it was. And we also touched on it on our, was it the last podcast?
It
I
might have
can't
been the
remember. It was
last
so long
one.
ago. But I knew that I know there is a topic that we talked about, like Ironheart in development or something like
On
that.
Disney Plus, yeah.
Yeah. So once again, doesn't surprise me, but it does get me psyched because she's a cool character, and it's cool to see that Iron legacy live on in someone from the next generation.
And obviously, it's not Iron Boy Jr. Spider-Man from the MCU, so...
Yeah. But at that point, you might. I hate that argument. It's like you might as well just call Rhodey the Black Iron Man and like Riri the Woman Iron Man, and like it's like what a dumb argument.
Little Spider-Boy Jr. gonna cry?
Gonna cry. Oh man.
Okay,
I
well,
mean, that's before we move on. Do you think? Just a quick question. Do you think they bring back RDJ for like a
I think they have to.
voiceover?
Isn't like one of the main things in the comics that there's like a AI of him that like guides her a little bit.
Yeah,
I think they'd have
it
to
is.
if they
Yeah,
want to go down that route. Or like,
and it was quite a long-lasting thing as well. Like I think that only got resolved like last year or something, or something like that. Like he was an AI for quite a while. Like he died and he came back as an AI for Riri, and like he was her Jarvis, and then he built himself like a robot body or something. Like it was quite an extensive thing. So it would surprise me if they didn't touch on it
but they wouldn't
at
go
some
that
point.
far. They wouldn't go that
No,
far
no,
because they want it. Like, let the man rest. Okay, he's been
for
in the
sure.
MCU for many years now.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like keep him as a voice, or at the very most, like occasionally put him in as like a blue hologram. But other than that, I'd say just leave the man alone.
Yeah, definitely. Um,
Oh, huge one here. Fantastic Four. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got a logo. We got a director. That's about it. But crazy, man.
well, it was hinted in Spider-Man: Far From Home.
It was that little 1, 2, 3. What comes next?
And it's like, yeah, like, oh, it's so on the nose, and people just didn't notice it. Well, they
Yeah,
did
like
notice it, but they were like, "Huh? Is this what I think it is?"
yeah, they were like they noticed it, but they kind of like they didn't notice what it meant. Like they were like, "Oh, Fantastic Four," but they didn't know that it meant like John Watts must have been probably pegged for the director at that point because that's why he put it in. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
what comes next for me? Oh, it's Fantastic Four.
because so that just makes me think that maybe he's not making any Spider-Man films after this next one.
I mean, if they don't extend the contract, definitely no.
Yeah,
And even if they do, I would like to see a different director take the helm because it'd be nice to see like each director have a trilogy. My ideal thing is three trilogies: adult, like him as a high schooler, him as a college student, and him as an adult. So John Watts definitely does that sort of like 80s high school movie feel.
yeah.
So it'd be nice to see a different director take the helm for the second trilogy if that happens. But anyway, back on to Fantastic Four. What do you think of him directing the first family of comics?
I would like to say he's earned it, but for me, well, Far From Home is a good film, but I'm not the biggest fan of Homecoming as a whole. So giving him like this, like their trust in him with this like massive thing for Marvel, I don't know. They
Like
must
this is
have a
the
lot
holy
of faith in
grail.
him. They must have a lot of faith in him.
Yeah, definitely. Like I would personally like to see Peyton Reed do it, the Ant Man director, but because he did pitch a Fantastic Four film, I think that was going to be set in the '60s or something. But I have faith in John Watts. I I don't get the hate for him, but equally, it's like obviously I'm still skeptical. Like he's done a fantastic job for Spider-Man. Personally, I feel, although some of the CGI is a bit dodgy, I love Homecoming so damn much, and I love Far From Home. So I trust him. I have faith in him. I love him as an MCU director. Um, I just hope that he can really pull it out the bag because this for Marvel, this is like if everything else is made out of steel, like Fantastic Four was the one thing made out of glass, like really cheap thin glass that could just shatter at one mismove or one mistouch. So it's real fragile for me. I'm real nervous because I feel so strongly about the previous incarnation, Fant Four Stick, that I'm still not that we'll ever get anything that bad, but I'm just scared to be honest.
Just need to get the tone right because that can make or break a Fantastic Four film, as seen with Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Yes, definitely. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love that original film, but Rise of Silver Surfer is just a little bit of a misstep.
It's a whole other level of falling off the cliff.
It really is. It's I like what they were going for, but it just did not work out for them. And I'm just so glad that it's back with Disney.
I'm sure
So
they'll do a
yeah,
good job of it though,
I'm sure they
because
will.
they have such
Uh,
high quality standards that I don't think
exactly,
that
man. There's
they'd
not a
let
chance
them
that it
go that.
doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Of course, you'll have people. Yeah, so you'll have people who don't like it, but it is what it is.
Hmm. Okay. Next we have another film that is very interesting to know about and what they've actually confirmed for this film. So we've got Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantum Mania. Please get that
Yes.
out.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. What a what a film. What a film it's shaping up to be because this is like Ant-Man for me has been a real success personally. And to also I like to judge it on like I like to judge the everyday Joe in terms of my parents. Or maybe mainly my dad. Like if I show my dad an MCU movie, like sometimes he'll like it and sometimes like he hates Thor. He hates all the Thor films, but he loves the Iron Man films and he loves the Captain America films. So for him to watch the Ant Man films, which is so kind of out there, and still think that was one of the best, is really quite impressive as like an everyday Joe.
Yeah.
So for this film, it's going to be wacky as hell. Like just by the name in general, you can tell. You can just tell. Um,
And how they're going to work Kang the Conqueror, such a expansive and big character in Marvel. Already, they've just confirmed that he's in it. Like, no surprise. Oh, here you go. He's in it.
yes, yes, played by
Jonathan
um,
Majors.
Jonathan Majors. That's his name. Which I'm sure he'll do a fantastic job. Um, I've not seen his other work, not that I know of. Anyway, I might have seen him in something. Um, but I'm sure they'll do a fantastic job with the character, and obviously he'll be entering through the quantum realm, as that is sort of their vessel to time travel in the MCU. As of right now, anyway, there could be other ways that they do it in the future, but the quantum realm, as of right now, is the way that they are harnessing time travel.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are you thinking?
Well, I think it's interesting that they're not going with Iron Lad as Kang, or because like we were talking about it ages ago that in that video that we were talking about earlier
Mm.
about Kang Iron Lad turning into Kang, right? And it's
Yeah, yeah.
interesting that they're not introducing him through the same way in the comics as he I think it was that he went back to himself younger and was like, look what you could become and look what everyone thinks of you or whatever it was. And that they're going through Ant-Man to bring him in. I guess that makes sense because of the quantum verse, but I sort of would have expected them to go through Iron Lad.
I think this is the perfect way to do it in terms of like, if you are going to bring Iron Lad into the MCU, this is the perfect way where you introduce Kang as this huge villain, and then you have him go away for a bit, and then you introduce Iron Lad perhaps in the Young Avengers, and they're like, "Who is this kid? You know, he just appeared out of nowhere," and he's like, "Well, I'm Iron Lad," and then they could do it in a way where it's like the audience and the rest of maybe the audience gets some slow sort of like hints, but the team are totally oblivious to the fact that this kid will become or is a younger version of Kang the Conqueror. So you could kind of like have the audience slowly start seeing like Kang appear to him and stuff like that, and we're not sure why. We're like, oh, is he trying to betray the team? And they're like, nah. Eventually, it's like, nah, this guy is a young Kang, but he's good. And like maybe the team could react to it in terms of like, oh, so you lied to us? And he's like, no, I didn't lie. I just didn't tell you.
Yeah. So, do you think that Kang will be the next big villain for the MCU, like Thanos?
Yes. Well, I think he'll be the next Avengers villain, but I think he'll be. It depends on which Avengers, because I think from this point onwards, the Avengers will never be the same because they are so huge. You'll have Avengers mainline. You have the Avengers as a whole. It's more of like a sort of, and then you'll have like separate divisions. So I feel like he'll be an Avengers villain, but it will be for the young Avengers, personally.
Yeah.
So that's kind of think what they're going for. So they're like slowly building up the young Avengers, and then you'll have Kang kind of come in, and he will be the main villain for them as a sort of maybe jumping off point. So maybe he's like a main villain for them, and
Mm-hmm.
then it jumps to like big Avengers level threat.
Galactus dudes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kree, whatever,
I
they
mean,
want
that's
to
the
go
thing.
with.
You've got Kang, and then you've also got the Skrull invasion currently going on, or currently being set up. So I think you'll have two smaller Thanoses going on simultaneously, and then you'll maybe get like Galactus at some point, and that will. I mean, Galactus is more of like a be all end all. Like, if you ever want to finish the MCU, that's you bring Galactus really.
Well, I'm just thinking because they're introducing Fantastic Four and they're getting into mutants and stuff.
I
Um,
mean,
before all these characters obviously don't want to like the actors don't want to play these characters anymore. Will they bring this stuff in?
what do you mean?
Well, like Fantastic Four, for example, like
Yeah.
if they're not if they want to end the MCU with Galactus in like 20 years, I don't
Oh
think
right,
some of
yeah.
these people will be acting as these characters still then.
Yeah, yeah. I get you. I get you. I mean, I think by then the MCU would probably bring in a lot of multiverse characters as like replacements.
But we don't know. We don't know. The MCU could take an
Perhaps like you've
absolute
got a
like
multiverse Iron Man or something.
the MCU could absolutely tank from now and not do well. But I doubt it. But we'll see. We don't know. We
You
don't
never
know.
know. Yeah,
And for our final
wilder
topic,
things have happened.
yeah, that's true. So for our final topic of the Marvel part of Disney investors, we have Moon Knight, and not that we got stuff for it, but the fact we didn't get anything for it.
Yeah, so this is gonna be a quick. This is gonna be a quick one. Oscar Isaac confirmed but not confirmed.
Everyone
Great
knows it's
casting.
him, but no one knows it's him.
It's that Haley Steinfeld thing. It's like everyone knows, but it's not confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's literally about it. I think Feige did say something about it in terms of like it dealing with mental health, which obviously is a given when it comes to a character with multiple personality disorder. Um, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. This it's going to be interesting to see where it leads and how it sort of like how far it's going into that deeper, darker side of the MCU for sure.
And
Like,
that'll go on similar levels to what was rumored to be 18 Doctor Strange 2. Remember,
yeah,
they were saying how dark that was going to be. It's going to be like a proper MCU horror film kind of thing.
well, yeah. I mean, that's the big rumor for the film, and that's what they're saying it's going to be. Um, and it's interesting to see how this might lead into something like Blade, or and kind of like go around that sort of darker side of the MCU
Of course,
because
but
it's got to be
again,
touched upon. It's a huge part of the Marvel Comics canon, so
yeah, again, that's all we've heard about Moon Knight, and that'll bring our
that's that.
MCU
That's the first topic.
MCU topic to a nice little close. And heading into our topic number 2, we've got Star Wars at the Disney investors, as well as we've had Marvel. So it was a big night for Disney that night.
It was. I was freaking out. I didn't know Marvel. I didn't know that much Marvel stuff was coming, and then you obviously had the. I didn't know how much Star Wars stuff was coming as well. Like it's crazy.
Very crazy. But we've got a few big things here, and then we're going to gloss over some of the other little things just so this doesn't get incredibly packed with stuff that we don't need to be talking about. So we'll start off with the Bad Batch trailer. We've both not really watched too much of the Clone Wars. I think that's safe to say.
I've seen 2.5 seasons.
And I used to watch it as a kid, like, the odd episode that would appear. And the film, if
Yeah.
that counts.
Oh god, the film. Film was terrible. so so yeah, the Bad Batch trailer. All I can say about this show, in terms of like, because I don't know that much about the Bad Batch apart from the fact that they are a defective clone squadron, if you will, that have like increased powers or something. All I can say about this trailer is that it looks stunning. Like it looks like certain shots look like it could be live action, just because it's got that texture and that it's just so crisp. Like it's amazing how far the animation has come, even from like the last season of Clone Wars.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's similar, but it's like they've upgraded the technology and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
And obviously, some characters aren't gonna look great, like the Clone Wars. Some of them just looked a bit, I don't know, disproportionate.
I mean, if you look at Dooku or Palpatine
Yeah,
in the Clone Wars,
it's like they've been through
yeah,
they've been smushed.
that's probably why I didn't watch it as a kid, because I just thought this looks whack.
Yeah,
So I'm not gonna bother. That, and it's a lot of political storylines that a 7-year-old doesn't really care about.
that's very
um,
true.
but I mean, this looks great. I think it's going to be dealing with the transition. Like, it's going to get in depth in the transition from the Republic into the first Galactic Empire, which is really interesting to see. because it's not something that's been touched on all that much.
Yeah, there's like this massive time jump between the prequels, and then you got Solo and Rogue One, but by that point it's already well established.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see some things that are closer to episode 3 than they are to episode 4. To see that sort of like them early days of the Empire and how it transitioned from the Republic.
Yeah, that'll be really nice to see, and as well for Clone Wars fans, it's pretty much just a sequel show. You can even tell by the logo where it burns out the Clone Wars logo, and it's now the Bad Batch.
Which was really nice. That was done quite nicely.
And it's also being made by the god of Star Wars, Dave Filoni. So,
Praise be Dave Filoni.
well, no, he's more like Jesus. He's more like
He is.
He's more like Jesus to God.
Well, it's kind of like George taught Dave, even though Dave was already a huge fan. Like George taught Dave, and Dave then what I find really cool is he then imparts his wisdom and George's wisdom onto like the voice actors. Like Sam Witwer is a god in knowledge of Star Wars. Then you have people like the guy who played Fred in Scooby Doo, who voices Kanan. He
Oh
knows like
yeah,
shit ton about the Force and all this sort of stuff because George teaches Dave and Dave teaches them. And I think that's a really cool kind of thing. It's almost like a master teaching their Padawan, and I think that's really
always two there are.
cool. So, speaking of, I don't know how to segue this, but Andor, we got a TV spot.
Again, this isn't a series that I'm incredibly interested in
No,
because it's not really a character I was like, oh, I want to see more of him. I guess K2SO is in it, so that's fine.
yeah, definitely, I get you there.
But him, like, again, it's something I was like, there's a lot of things they could have done instead, but they've got time. They've got time.
The thing that gives me hope for this show is the fact that I loved Rogue One so much
Yeah.
that I kind of think, well, this show will be something special.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
And it's also obviously a prequel because he dies in Rogue One.
Yes, decimated by the Death Star.
So
Not the Death Star?
we'll
Yes,
get to see a bit more of him and K2SO before he had a turn and ended up being nice to Jin.
Yes. Is it Jin? No, yeah, it is Jin, isn't
Yeah.
it? I'm getting confused with Din.
Ah.
Yeah.
And there's
then,
always someone called Din or Jin or Qui-Gon
yeah,
Jinn or... Yeah.
there's a lot of rhyming Star Wars. A lot of similar names. So,
Oh, yeah.
then, Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is a big one. This is a big one.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Hayden Christensen. Welcome back.
Welcome back,
Welcome
man.
back from his farm. Wherever he's been.
He has a farm.
Yeah, he's lived on a farm for the last 10 years.
Does he? That's cool. Just meditating, keeping himself away from the dark side.
Exactly. He's been
Gotta do
trying.
it.
They were like, you can come back in 10 years. And the fact he's playing Darth Vader as well. Like,
That's an interesting one. Because we're obviously going to see his face and him in flashbacks, or else they would just get some random tour guide to play Darth Vader.
Yeah. It's a lot of money just to pay out for him to walk around in a suit.
Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine? We get to the end of the show and we've not seen his face once. So my guess is that you're going to see him in his castle on Mustafar. That'd be a huge hope of mine. And you're going to see some my huge hope is that we get some Clone Wars flashbacks and we get them in their Clone Wars outfits, and that'd be really sick.
But the problem is they'll look about 10 years older than the last film.
Oh, come on, man. It's Disney. They got money. They can de-age them.
That's true, but if you look at Hayden Christensen now and then, he does actually look completely different.
Does he? My guy hasn't aged.
He has aged.
Nah, not that much.
Yeah, Google him.
I have. He does not look that older. He does not look that much older, in my opinion.
Nah.
Plus, it's only
He's also put on the pounds a little bit.
You think? A little bit. A little bit. I don't know when that photo was taken. If you're looking at the same photos as I am, I can see what you mean. They got money. They'll sort it out.
That's true. As long as they do a bit of a better job than Luke.
Oh,
In
nah, look great.
It did, but it just looked off. Like you could just tell that it wasn't real.
But that's the thing, like, I'm okay. I accept the fact that that is where technology is at.
Nah, people can do it way better. Have you not seen the YouTube videos of people where
The
they've
deep fakes
literally
don't look
fixed it?
that good. The deep fakes don't look that good.
Have you? Yeah, but have you seen the YouTube videos
I've
where
seen it.
people
I've
like
seen
redo
it.
it?
I've seen it. It looks all right. It's just, to be honest, it doesn't look any better. It looks a bit blocky. It looks like Clone Wars over the top of him. But
Well,
like, I
yeah.
think Mark Hamill's just got an awkward face to capture. Like if you look at like merchandise, it looks whack. So I'm sorry, Mark, but you got a tricky face.
True. And
Very,
also,
very true.
I'm sort of expecting Qui-Gon Jinn to appear in some sort of aspect of that series as well. Maybe it's like, oh, I can't say it because it's in the Clone Wars. Have you seen the episode where Qui-Gon Jinn's in it?
I haven't seen it, but I know. What's his face comes back to voice him. Yeah, Liam Neeson.
Yeah. Okay, well, am I allowed to spoil it for you?
Shoot, man, I don't really mind.
It's just his voice. He can't physically like show, like you can't see him like a Force ghost. He's just a
No,
voice.
all right.
So that's probably
Until
what I'm expecting them to do. Like, I don't know, Obi-Wan's meditating, like, what do? I don't know if I'm strong enough to do this. And then Qui-Gon's appears like, yes, Obi-Wan, you are. Ah-di-da-di-da.
Obi-Wan, use the Force.
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically. But like the thing that gets me intrigued, the thing that intrigues me the most is the fact that they said it's going to be the rematch of a lifetime, and that has me worried as fuck because they're not supposed to meet. They're not supposed to meet before episode 4.
No, they never said that. They never said they didn't meet before episode 4. He did just,
Yeah, but he's like, last time you saw me, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. Like,
yeah, well, it's still the same thing. He's
unless
still
like they refer to
learning
like him learning
the Sith. I mean,
underneath
there's multiple
Palpatine.
interpretations. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I just prefer that, like, oh, I haven't seen you in like 30 years. This is mad. Like, I'm battling you after 30 years of like my hope is you get that rematch, but it's like maybe through the Force or
Yeah.
something like that, or like maybe Anakin, like maybe you get the a representation of like the Vader comic, the most like I think they're recent. No, they're probably like a year or two old now. The Vader comics where Anakin is like he's meditating or something on Mustafa, or no, he's trying to bleed his crystal, and he has this like force vision of like back on Mustafa with him battling Obi-Wan, and then like Anakin throws the lava on Obi-Wan, and out of the lava also comes Vader, and then Vader. It's something like that, and then he realizes what he's done, and then he goes back and he kills Palpatine, and he goes to Obi-Wan. He's like, "I'm sorry, Master," but then it's all in his head. Like I'm thinking something like that could be kind of cool.
Maybe. Because, as we know, Darth Vader is not exactly the 100% villain, is he? He's a
No, he's
tragic.
not.
He's a man of tragic tragedy.
He's a man of conflict, much conflict.
Yes, and they'll probably explore that a lot in that series because there's room for them to do so.
Yeah, I mean, definitely so. And
I'm
then,
sure he won't be in every episode as well.
no,
I'm sure
definitely not.
there'll be episodes like Mandalorian where it's not really story orientated. It's just a little fun adventure episode, like the one where he's killing that giant sand creature. I can't remember what it's called. The crate dragon.
Great Dragon. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, at the end of the day, it's an Obi-Wan show. So I expect, obviously, him to have the full attention. And then there's obviously going to be Anakin, or Vader, should I say, sort of off to the side. And he's going to be doing his own thing. And then they'll converge in some sort of way at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
And then moving on to two series that will sort of link in a way and crossover with Mando at some point. We have Rangers of the New Republic and Ahsoka, which is really cool to see some more of that time of Star Wars. It'd be interesting to expand on everything that people are loving right now. Then you have something that we haven't really touched on, the Acolyte, which will take place during the times of the High Republic, which is something that they really seem to be focusing on in the books and the comics.
And that's something that people really want. Like, that is, like,
It's
prequels to the prequels is, like, what people have always wanted of Star Wars films.
because
And,
it's sort of untouched.
yeah, definitely.
It's sort of untouched ground that will be really interesting to explore. And of course, an Acolyte, I think, is a Sith Padawan, isn't it?
Yes, it is like
A
a
Sith,
Sith
Sith learner.
youngling Padawan.
Yeah. So that's going to be cool. And then you've got, oh no, you got a droid story.
Yeah! I
Yeah.
said something about this ages ago. I said a C-3PO and R2-D2 show, and we got it, boys.
Oh my God, you did as well, way back in like maybe episode 2 or something.
We got it, boys. We got it.
All,
C-3PO,
all three of you,
R2-D2 show, it's here.
all three of you, including Anthony Daniels.
Exactly. He
You all
must
got
play
it.
C-3PO, or he is coming to George Lucas's house to cry.
He will. He will. He insists.
Right, before we say anything stupid, that's
Yeah, before we make any enemies. Then we have Lando. Will it be in the past during Solo? Like, will it be a sequel to Solo?
I hope so. I really liked
Donald
what's his
Glover.
name? Shows how much I actually like him.
Donald Glover.
Yeah, Donald Glover.
Yeah.
Shows how much I really care about Solo there. But no, I really liked his performance in Solo as
It was
Lando.
cool. It really felt like Lando.
It did, but it also felt like his own version of Lando than the original.
It did. In some parts, it felt like an impression, but I think he just really. I think people say it felt like an impression, but I think he made it his own.
Oh yeah, and he definitely deserves another shot, as well as the guy who played Han Solo that I can't say the name of because I'll mess it up.
Alden.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yep, that's him.
I don't know. Alden. It's just Alden.
Old
One name, like Madonna or Cher
or Yoda.
or Yoda. It could be that, or it could be Billy D in a post episode 9 world, or it could be both. Who knows?
Who
It could
knows?
be. It could be sort of him, Billy D, being like to that girl who could be his daughter, but probably is, but maybe isn't. I don't know. He could be like, "Wow, well, back in my day," and then you could kind of like go back to the Donald Glover sort of
And
times.
how he like found Cloud City and whatnot.
Yeah, how he kind of like made his home there and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Then we have a movie. This is cool. Coming from Patty Jenkins, the director of Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 1984, a woman who, growing up, father was a pilot. So she wanted to make the best fighter pilot film of all time for many years now. And we've got a little tease of that in Wonder Woman 1984, which I probably will leave a review of at some point on the channel before it becomes totally irrelevant. But she's going to make a fighter pilot film called Rogue Squadron. What do you think?
Well, a lot of speculations going around whether it's set during the actual times of Rogue Squadron, which is during the original trilogy, or a sequel to the sequels, which will make 0 sense.
I mean, you could still have Rogue Squadron be
Well, the problem
like
is
the
Rogue
legacy of
Squadron.
Rogue Squadron.
Rogue One is obviously Rogue One. And then
Yeah.
Rogue 2 is literally, I'm pretty sure that's in one of the original films.
Rogue, yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I think you could be right, but yeah, it's an interesting one to see where this is going to take place. I mean, if it
Yeah.
does take place post episode 9, do you think we get Oscar Isaac back?
Yeah,
You
Rogue
think he'll ever
Squadron.
want to
Yep, that's it. Rogue Squadron.
touch
Yep.
Star Wars again?
Rogue Squadron is in the episode 5. You know, the fighters on Hoth, where the walkers and tie them
Yeah.
up. That's Rogue Squadron.
Ah, right.
So having a Rogue Squadron film set 30 plus years later. No. You don't do that. You make it original trilogy. That's what people want.
I mean, that would be cool. That would be cool.
People want the Empire because they're better than the First Order.
I mean, I'll take it
Objectively.
either way, to be honest. I'll take it either way. I'm just excited to see something different from Star Wars once again, you know? I like where we are in Star Wars right now, where nothing quite feels the same.
Yeah.
It's like you've got Mandalorian, you've got Ahsoka, you've got, I'm getting all these different things, like a show about a Jedi, a show about Mandalorian, a show about a smuggler, a show about a movie about fighter pilots. Like, they're really just pulling from every which way, and I really like that. It's not like, it's another Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
And then, speaking of a show about a Mandalorian, we have the Book of Boba Fett announced at the end of Mandalorian Season 2.
Featuring
Wow.
Tamura Morrison and Ming-Na Wen.
Featuring... Yes. Which will be insane, because if you look at how they sort of operated during The Mandalorian, the guy's a fucking beast. The guy is a beast. Like, you can't take him down. I mean, Jesus Christ, he survived a Sarlacc pit.
That's true.
So, yeah, man, I'm very excited about this. As am I also excited about Star Wars Visions. I'm sure you're probably probably the person to talk to about this, apart from me, because rather than me, because I don't really follow anime. But what are you thinking as an anime watcher?
Well, I don't really watch much anime, but I'm interested. Like, the art style, of course, will be the most important thing. And it also depends the way they go about having. Is it going to be in English, or are they going to go Japanese with subtitles? Because to me, I always watch it in Japanese because
I hope English, because that's...
you get the best experience in watching anime in Japanese, Brandon.
Yeah, I prefer English, just simply because if I'm watching an action sequence and people are talking during it, I'd rather just watch it
That's
rather than
true.
having to read subtitles.
That
You
is
know,
true.
I get a better experience. Not that I watch anime, but I would much rather... The thing that really puts me off watching anime is the fact that in certain shows I would have to read subtitles when I really want to be looking at the action.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. But to get it depends because it's probably not even being made in Japan, is it? They're probably making it in like their Disney offices in America somewhere.
Yeah,
But
it will
they're obviously
most likely be English.
being made by Japanese anime directors and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, I think, as you say, the thing that's most notable that gets me excited is, that different art style, that anime art style that will be interesting to see translated into Star Wars.
So,
So, so
huh.
that brings us to the end of that topic. Now, moving on to the third and final topic of the podcast, we have Spider-Man 3, or MCU's Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man Home Worlds, Spider-Man Home Run, Spider-Man
Home.
Many Homes, Home, Spider-Man Homie,
Home
whatever it's
away
going to be
from
called,
Homer Simpson.
Spider-Man Homeboy, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting one, considering when you take into consideration all of the rumors that we've been getting, and said rumors. It's hard to distinguish fiction from non-fiction in terms of these rumors.
And
You've
there's also a lot
got...
of people saying things are confirmed, but nothing's confirmed.
I mean, unless it comes from Deadline or the Hollywood Reporter, I don't really take it as gospel.
We got this covered.
We've got this covered in the Sun.
The sun. Oh no.
They're really striking home with these rumors. Oh
Yeah.
man. So, I mean, hey, I have faith, but Spider-Man movies always really freak me out because of Sony's involvement and the fact that they tend to, at some point in the trilogy, whether it be the third movie, like the first trilogy, or the second movie, like the second trilogy, they always seem to put too much in, or seem to sort of like not bring that same quality. So, what are you thinking?
They are money grabbers. They're a menace. But no. They've still got shooting. Oops. They've still got shooting happening at the moment. And where are they filming it?
I would think Atlanta.
I would expect it to be Atlanta as well.
I would think so.
But there was that stuff about Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield seen in New York, stuff.
Even though they were only shooting in New York for like 2 weeks for pickup shots.
Yeah, exactly. It's just random shots that they just need for like CG and stuff. But oh well.
So
no.
That's what they need Andrew for. He's like, oh, Andrew, just walk past and we'll film you and then we'll put it somewhere in the film.
Spot Andrew Garfield in the film and you win a gold cracker. But no, there's been so many people rumored for this. Like everyone that's ever been in Spider-Man is just in this film now. It's getting to the point where people are making like absolute memes out of it. Like there's, whoa, he stole that guy's pizza guy is returning in Spider-Man 3 as, whoa, he stole that guy's pizza guy.
Returning.
Yeah, there's just so much like random things that they're like, oh, bringing these characters back, but
random bystander from Rocky 4 is rumored to return to Spider-Man 3.
It's just wild. Like, okay, it's fine, bring like one or two villains back because they want this multiverse stuff going forwards.
Yeah.
But it is not the time or the place to bring everyone who's ever been a Spider-Man villain back and be like, yo, these films are suddenly really relevant again, even though they made 12 years ago. We'll just bring them back. Yeah, they're very relevant again now. Please buy our stuff.
I mean, it's funny that you mentioned that though, the whole multiverse thing, because it is confirmed that this will be a sort of a part of a 3-film saga storyline, if you will, where it's like you got one division, which I'm expecting will break them or break tear a hole in the fabric of reality or something, and like that will then open up the multiverse. Then you got Spider-Man dealing with the ramifications of it, and then it will close off with Doctor Strange into the multiverse of madness.
Where they're gonna fix everything. And that's also rumored to have a few characters from Spider-Man as well, isn't it? Tobey Maguire mainly.
Think people are saying, kind of just taking that thing that it's like, oh, Sam Raimi, so it must be Tobey Maguire. So, I think the only person that's confirmed to return with a Sam Raimi film is God, I can't even think of his name. The guy who's in literally every Sam Raimi film.
Oh yeah.
Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell, that's his name. The only person that's confirmed to be in Doctor Strange has got to be Bruce Campbell. I mean, sure. I mean, if you're gonna do Raimiverse, make him the Raimiverse Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Oh no, he was gonna be Mysterio in that dimension.
Yes, he was, wasn't he? Yes, he was. I mean, speaking of which, Jake Gyllenhaal. I mean, let's go through everyone that is rumored to return, which is, as you say, pretty much everyone who's ever been in a Spider-Man film. But you've got what, as you say, Mysterio. Jake Gyllenhaal is rumored to return. Was Green Goblin? Willem Dafoe. There he is. Willem Dafoe is rumored to return. The guy who plays Sandman in Spider-Man 3 is rumored to return. Who else? The guy who plays Goblin Jr. in
Dane DeHaan.
Dane DeHaan is rumored to return.
No, James Franco. Where's my James Franco? Where is he?
You're not getting your damn James Franco.
When you fix this damn multiverse.
He's waiting for that Multiple Man film that Fox promised him like 4 years ago. Thomas Hayden Thomas Hayden Church. That's the guy who played Sandman.
Yeah. That's the one.
Who else?
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst.
Whatever her name is, I don't know.
Yes,
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone.
Probably that random person that wasn't even in Amazing Spider-Man 2 that played MJ in a few scenes.
I mean, maybe so. I would like to see a return. That would be cool. Um, who else? I don't think Topher Grace has been rumored. Neither is Paul Giamatti or Michael Keaton, or the guy who played Lizard.
I'm sure Michael Keaton will appear at some capacity, but that's more in the Sony stuff
I
now.
don't know if he will. You know.
That's more in the Sony ball court now.
Yeah,
They're using him in what is it, Morbius?
he's going to be
That
in
film
Morbius.
that
He is. Yeah,
exists.
that everyone forgot about.
Well, no one cares.
No, no one cares. The only one who cares is probably. I mean, it looks alright, but the only one who really cares is probably Armin from the CBC. He's probably the only person on the planet who probably cares about Morbius that much, anyway.
It's just a weird thing that they're making that film. Like, there's plenty of other characters they
Yeah,
could have used.
to be honest, I'd rather they touch and mess up Morbius than
But,
touch
you
like
never know. It could be
Doc Ock.
amazing. It probably won't, but it could be
You know
absolutely
what?
amazing.
I looked at that trailer the first time I saw it, and I thought this is actually going to be banging. Like I have good. I mean, yeah, it feels like another 2002 film, just like Venom, but
Venom.
Venom. But yeah, I mean that's the nature of Sony's, or it seems to be the nature of Sony's villain films, that they all feel like films that belong in 2002.
Yeah, most
Um,
definitely.
so yeah, is that it? That's it? Oh, Jamie Foxx and obviously Doc Ock, what's his name?
Alfred
Alfred
Molina.
Molina. Alfred Molina and Electro.
Jamie
Jamie
Foxx.
Foxx. They are both rumored to be returning, and they're the strong ones. Like Jamie Foxx has confirmed it, and Doc Ock has been seen on set. So it's they are the two confirmed ones, but the rest is just wild speculation.
Oh, and I'm sure Jameson will be in the film as well.
Well, yes, I'm sure. Almost positive of it. I'm sure. And he said he's recorded some stuff for some Sony films, so I reckon he'll be in Morbius and possibly even Venom 2 as well. But yeah, I mean that's Spider-Man 3. I mean, what can we even say? What is it? I mean, people want Daredevil. I want Daredevil. Will he be in there? Who knows? Who really knows?
It's a
At
bit
this
of a
point,
mess with Daredevil. Like, people want the other actor back.
if you've got all these people, as long as they're in small. Who?
Daredevil, Charlie
Oh,
Cox.
Charlie Cox.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, people want him back, and to be honest, listen, if all of these rumors are true, then I think as long as they're in a small capacity, like at the end of the film, then I'll be okay with it. As
Oh
long
yeah.
as you keep it concise and as long as you give me that personal story that I'm looking for with this film, that will sort of dive into Peter's real struggle of trying to fix all of this and trying to keep people safe, then I'm fine with it.
I'm also very content with this film as long as they don't go way too far with this multiverse stuff, and it just becomes really, really messy with all these different characters just popping up in random places that doesn't fit the film whatsoever, and doesn't
Yeah,
really lead off from the last one because it's such a massive cliffhanger. It's like
I mean,
revealing his name.
it's one of the biggest things you could possibly do to Spider-Man,
Yeah, it's such a like
and
a massive thing in the comics that his identity is kept secret, and the first thing without his mentor, it all goes wrong, and now he's left. Whatever's gonna happen in the next film, on the run or whatever's gonna happen, they just don't need to shovel these villains in, which
yeah,
will ruin the tone of the film completely and what they've already set up.
as long as you don't make it messy, and as long as you do it in a classy way that's subtle and just kind of brings them in without shoehorning them in, then I'm okay with it. I'm
Yeah,
okay with it. As long as it doesn't affect, as long as it doesn't affect things in a negative way, which I know is a very basic sentence to kind of say, like, oh, as long as it doesn't make the film bad, then I'm okay with it. But as long as it, yeah, I mean that is basically it, isn't it? As long as they don't make the film bad, then
yeah.
then I'm sure it will be absolutely fine. And if they do bring Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back, then they're on to a massive success.
Yeah, people want that. But the problem is, everyone will be like, "Oh my god, it's these characters." But if the film is bad, then it's just gonna leave like a massive, massive problem.
It's a bad taste in people's
Yeah,
mouth,
yeah,
I think. This is the Rise of Skywalker for me.
yeah,
It's a bad taste that kind of ruins what came before. So as long as they do it classy and as long as they do it minimal, as long as they keep it minimal, I think it should be all right. It's just how they deal with the multiverse at the same time as fixing his identity thing. As long as they
yeah.
don't,
And
I
as
mean,
long
they
as they
could
don't,
gloss over it. They
yeah,
could well gloss over it like
yeah,
they did with the whole identity reveal to Aunt May, where it's like, oh yeah, we're just going to talk
just
about
leave
this
it in
in
the next film. Oh, it happened. Everyone knows
the
now.
first 2 minutes of the film, and then we're done.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I just got Doctor Strange to make a body double. There we go,
easy
fixed.
peasy. Flashback scene, done and dusted. Let's get on to ruining the multiverse. Let's go.
Let's go.
Feige time.
Fighting time. So that is the final topic, and it brings us to the end of the podcast. We had a bit of a stinker today, ladies and gentlemen. We have had a bit of a stinker. We are a bit out of practice, as I'm sure you can tell, but
Yes.
we are getting back into the swing of things, and we will be back with higher and higher quality with every week that goes past, and hopefully topics that include less.
Yes. It was a big thing. We missed so
So
much.
we missed a lot. So we thought it was only fair to kind of like talk about all the big things that happened while we were away. But at the end of the day, it kind of just left us trying to rush by the end of the podcast. If you haven't already, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment so you know to maybe tell us what to talk about or touch on next in future videos. And also tell a friend. Just lie to them for all I can. Tell them it's about something completely different that they might like. I don't know. But just get them to click on the video and they might stick around if they like it. Probably not, but they might.
They
So,
might.
I've been Brandon,
I have been Will.
and this is the end of the podcast. Goodbye.